Hello and welcome to the show. Let's talk about how to make the college football playoff better. What inspired me is I've been playing a lot of NCAA 06 lately, the greatest college football game ever made. If you haven't played it, highly recommend you play it as soon as you possibly can. In front of us, we have an 8-team bracket. I think 12 is too much. I think 16 is too much, even though 16 would kind of be awesome. But in the current system, I think we have to go less. I think we have to take teams away from this to make the playoff a bit more viable. So here's how I propose we do that. And again, I was playing NCAA 06, and I just enjoyed how much those conference championships meant. You know, winning a conference championship meant a lot. And it meant, you know, if you won the Big East, or excuse me, the Big Ten, you went to the Rose Bowl. Pac-10, 12, you went to the Rose Bowl. So these bowl games being integrated with the playoff, I think it's diluted them. You know, it's watered them down, and it makes them mean a lot less. So I think we need to separate the bowl games and the playoff. If we're able to do that, if we're able to get this clean break of the New Year's 6 bowl games, if we can get them away from the playoff, I feel like we're going to be in a lot better shape. My proposal is to have the bowl games lead into the playoff, right? So conference champions need to be in the playoff. We don't live in a world where all FBS conferences are equal. I mean, it's never been that world. And what's crazy is that we've had to, for so long, we've had to have 2 different classifications for football. I mean, we have FCS and FBS now. Before it was Division 1A and 1AA. We're not going to be able to get away from further breaking apart these classifications. We need to dive a little bit deeper. So we need to be honest with ourselves, so the Power 4 conferences don't break off and become their own thing. If you still want there to be some mingling with Group of 6 conferences outside of the, you know, the yearly shellackings that a lot of these teams, like, you know, Alabama will go and pick some shitty little Sun Belt team to beat up on week 2. That's slowly turning into weeks 11 and 12, but I digress. So, got to backtrack a little bit. These 16-team mega conferences, I'm going to pull it up right here. Like, you know, this is fucking crazy. This is insanity. This doesn't make any sense. There's no divisions. There's no nothing. So you have these giant, massive mega divisions. I mean, the Big Ten's got however the fuck many it has. I know it's 16 here. I'm pretty sure it's 17 or 18 over here. ACC, another massive mega conference. SEC, all this happy horse shit. All right, the Sun Belt Conference is the only conference that has any sense and decided, like, hey, you know, we'll have some divisions here. We'll create some parity. I think you need to have conference championship tournaments. You have to. The fact that you have 4 teams with a 7-1 record, and to determine these conference championships, you can't do this computer ranking nonsense where you pick the top 2 teams out of, you know, look at all that 7-1 finishes. The Mountain West one pissed me off the most. I mean, these 4 teams finished in 6-2. The ACC was insanity. The fact that you had Duke in the conference championship game, winning that, first of all, I think they deserve, you know, they showed they deserve to be there. But I mean, again, you're leaving stuff out on the table here. So I would break it down like this. So at least the Power 4 conferences, right? Honestly, the Group of 6, do whatever you guys got to do to get your bag. I don't care at this point. It is what it is. But these Power 4 conferences, you need to have a 4-team playoff for every single Power 4 conference for their conference championship. That's where you can get those exciting home playoff games, right? The conference championship can take place at a neutral site. Awesome, great. The bowl games should continue to take place at neutral sites. Awesome. But these conference semifinals is where you can get that home playoff game that everybody talks about being so great. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Okay. So awesome. You had 2 extra weeks after the 12th game of the season. Game 13 and 14, a team is played for and won possibly a conference championship. It makes the conference championships actually mean something because these conference champions are going to get an automatic berth into a bowl game, right? So we're having the postseason split into 3 separate parts. Conference championships, step 1. So your ACC, I'm just going to put this in alphabetical order. Big 10, 12, SEC. All right, perfect. These teams have qualified for their respective bowl tie-ins. So now the second phase of the postseason could be bowl games. Again, this looks like a tournament bracket, but it really doesn't have to officially be the playoff yet. I think these bowl games can continue to exist as, the conference champions versus an at-large bid. Kind of preserves that classic nature of bowl games. It can get the Big Ten at the Rose Bowl again every year. You can retain that tradition. You can have the bowl games on days that work. Like you could put the Rose Bowl during the Tournament of Roses again. All that happy horse shit. So the ACC, I'm actually just going to put this in here. It's easy. So this is the Orange Bowl. Big Ten is the Rose Bowl. Big 12 is the Fiesta Bowl. And the SEC is the Sugar Bowl. Then from here, like I mentioned before, you just need to be honest. The group of 6 and the Power 4, as shown in this last playoff, I mean, it's just miles apart. It really is. Occasionally, you could have a giant killer come up. Again, JMU and Tulane, they didn't get murdered. They fared okay. So the best of the best in the group of 6, I think at least one of those teams deserves a chance. So let's just put them in the Sugar Bowl, right? That's the one at-large bid, or I guess you'll figure it out, the highest-ranked conference champion between the group of 6. Let them have a seat at the adults' table. That's I hate to say the one gimme, but whoever you determine to be the first, second, third, and fourth seed, I think you can, seed that out however you want. But in our little thing here, the highest-ranked group of 6 champion needs to be given as the at-large opponent in one of these bowl games. And the rest of them is going to be just at-large. 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 Okay. So here we are. Bowl week, right? Or the New Year's bowl week. So you play the other bowl games. Notre Dame can opt out if they want to. But these are the teams that have earned a right. These teams who have gone through their conference playoff, who have won their conference, they have a spot in these historic bowl games. And these bowl games act as sort of the de facto first round of the playoff. But again, have it be separate. They are bowl games. This is not the conference championship tournament. This is not the college football playoff. These are bowl games. Let them stand on their own. So all these old heads that run these bowls can be happy. So let's say this guy wins, moves on. Sugar Bowl champion wins. SEC champ wins the Sugar Bowl. Big 12 champ wins the Fiesta Bowl. And the Big 10 champ wins the Rose Bowl. Great. Now we've cut into our college football playoff. Now we've entered the third phase of the season. We've had all of these games played up to this point have basically been win or go home. If you're a Power 4 team and you lose in your conference playoff, there's only 3 at-large spots for you to take up. It makes those games mean something while not eliminating really good teams. If the first and fourth ranked team are in the SEC semifinal game somehow, if something crazy like that happens, or the final game, there's still a chance for that team to make it if they're the best. But again, it gets that home playoff game during the conference tournament. It maintains the prestige of the bowl games. It allows them to stand on their own. It allows you to create those classic conference champion matchups. And I think, it just makes it more meaningful. It cuts out a lot of the fat. Going from 12 teams to 8 is so much better. It makes it mean so much more. I'm not for expanding it. I'm for shrinking it. Again, teams like Notre Dame, which that whole opting out and wanting to get their way and refusing to join a conference, which I can just go on and on about, but I don't feel like it in the stream. I can get more content on that another day. This, it just balances it out. It's a little better. And it gets down to, the quarterfinal and semifinals are really where this stuff heated up. And that's where the playoff, I feel like, was at its best. So again, we're in the college football playoff. Winner goes on to the national championship. 3 phases of the postseason. Phase 1, conference tournament. Phase 2, bowl games. Phase 3, the actual playoff itself.